Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing another in our series on the Broke to Boujee series. If you haven't seen anything on this series, or this is your first introduction to the concept, I would encourage you to go back to the first video because it'll explain everything that I'm doing here in much greater detail. Basically, we have what started out as the cheapest possible AR I could put together from Palmetto State Armory, and we've slowly been investing more money into upgrading it to what I believe to be the level of a good fighting rifle. Now, we are on a live range, so I apologize in advance for any ambient noise that we have to deal with, but that's just the reality of it. Again, we're trying with multiple mics here to get something decent as far as audio goes. So quick overview. Again, when it first came in, it came in a very basic GI configuration M4 with just the iron sights and a sling. We were at $500. In the first round of upgrades, we added the Magpul handguard, mostly so that we could get a white light on here. This is the Streamlight ProTac HLX. And then in the intervening time between now and my last video, which was at 830 rounds, we have added a Holosun red dot, and we've also upped the buffer weight to deal with some of those overgassing issues we were experiencing. Today, we have enough rounds to get it to right around 1,400 rounds. Between now and the last video, we've gotten this thing up to 990 rounds. Again, you'll be seeing all the footage of all the shooting, but we're, again, going to start getting this thing hot again, testing out whether or not this Ranger Band method for the light that I talked about in the last video is going to continue to work for us, and really just see how much of a benefit this red dot gives us. So we're just going to be doing more drills. Again, I'm not trying to do a torture test necessarily with one of these. I'm just trying to put it through a realistic battery of usage types and just see how it handles under those circumstances. So let's go ahead and get our first round of shooting in. When it comes time to reload, we'll do another update and then kind of wrap up our thoughts once we get to that final 1,400 round mark. All right, so we're another 180 rounds down. Things still running well, still yet to have no malfunctions. For what it's worth, in this last, I haven't, well, I'll put it this way. I haven't cleaned it since around the 830 round mark when I did that before. And again, part of that is because I'm not trying to do a torture test to see how long this will go with zero maintenance. That's, again, not something I'm trying to test here. I'm just trying to test how it holds up, and ideally, if it's something you're trusting your life to, you're going to be doing better maintenance than that. We can talk about field expedient cleaning kits in another video. However, this thing is getting nice and hot. Again, no issues. We're going to go ahead, load it back up, and continue shooting. For sake of time and just getting this video to flow a little bit better, I might not show every single round fired in these segments in between. However, at the end of the video, I will show all of the shooting footage in its entirety, so that again we can get a go along for this ride together and share in this experience. So I'm going to go ahead, load back up. We'll do some more drills, and then hopefully once we burn through most of the ammo we have out here, we're going to go out to the long distance range and see how this thing will group at 100 yards once it's, you know, over 1,000 rounds down, which we are over 1,000 now, by the way. All right, so now I got done with the part here on the smaller range here. We're right now, according to my calculations, right at 1,310 rounds through this Palmetto State Armory AR, and we have 0 malfunctions to report to date. Now, just as I've mentioned before, the magazines that I'm using are the stainless steel Duramags. These have been the magazines I've been using throughout this entire process. Part of that is, obviously, if I want to test the reliability of this gun, I want to make sure that the magazines are not a source for any failure, so that everything can be traceable back to the gun, and they have been holding up great. I'm going to be doing a dedicated video on the Duramag magazines, but I've got a ton of rounds through them now, and again, 1,310 through the Duramags just through this Palmetto State Armory gun alone. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now, again, we're at 1310. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the long distance range, again, in quotations, and see what this thing groups like at 100 yards. At least that's the footage I'm going to cut in right now. I haven't obviously done that by the point I'm filming here, but we're going to reconvene and you guys will be even more informed than I am at this point. All right, so we just got done shooting some groups with this Palmetto State Armory rifle here. This is only at 50 yards, so please take that into consideration. We can then extrapolate what these would be in MOA. Now I'm gonna roll in close-up pictures. I had way better plans for the targets I was gonna be using. However, things did not look, I was basically using these low contrast targets, I'll show you, and I couldn't make out the independent points of aim. So then I just had to use these target backers, one of which I had already used to test out a muzzle loader earlier. So that's what these three 50 caliber holes are. So first up here, we had the, this is the PMC bronze 55 grain full metal jacket, and we are looking for the entire thing. And I noticed with all of these that there's kind of like a first round flyer. I don't know if it's first round, I should say 1 round flyer and then a decent 4-shot group. So with these, the close 4 are probably just over 1 inch apart. With the flyers, we're probably looking at about 1.5 to 2 inches. So this group here is with some 69 grain federal gold medal match. This stuff did pretty well. Again, our tight 4 cluster is under 1 inch. With the flyer, we have probably about 1.5 inches once again. Down here, if we can get it on camera, we had a 4-shot group, because that's all I had left, of some Fiocchi 69 grain full metal jacket. This one is a little bit bigger for the cluster, and we're probably again right at 1.25, 1.5-ish inches. And then down here in this corner, we again tried the federal gold medal match 69 grain Sierra Match King, and again we had a pretty nice group. This is probably the tightest 5 of the bunch, and again we're probably right at around 1.25 inches. Now again, this is at 50 yards, so if we want to talk MOA, basically take these sizes and double it. So we're probably looking at about 3-ish MOA. Now obviously optics setup is subpar, but I think that these results are still significant, and that's what we got. So again, you guys know better than I do actually how this thing did. However, my expectations, which go ahead and just throw them out there anyway, my expectation is about 2 MOA or better, and to me that's perfectly acceptable for a fighting rifle. A lot of people are really chasing that 1 MOA thing. However, that's just not a reasonable expectation, in my opinion, on a gun in this price range. If this did do better than that, then to me that's just a bonus. So again, for what that's worth. So what has my experience been so far? Let me go ahead and just once again run over the upgrades we've done, and then we'll later talk about where we plan on going from here. So first of all, again, we have the Magpul MS1 sling. This thing has been super solid throughout this entire process. As you've seen in multiple videos now, I've done a lot of offhand shooting, and being able to do shoulder transitions with a sling, as long as it's just around my neck, basically swimming my support arm out, has been no problem whatsoever. Once we changed to the Magpul SL handguard up here up front, we lost our front sling mount, so I now have a BCM QD here on the front on the M-lock that I now have the sling in that way. Moving forward from here, again, the whole point of the Magpul handguard was being able to mount a flashlight. The Streamlight ProTac HLX has been extremely solid, and for the purposes of my shooting at night in low light, this thing has been phenomenal. Again, you guys have seen footage of this thing being used at night since our last update video. Other than that, we have the Holosun 403B. Now, I wanted to do a 403R, the difference being it has the rheostat style dial on the side with a battery compartment on the side. This one has the battery compartment located underneath. That is not my preference. However, this is one I already had, and in order to be able to buy more ammo, I just figured use a dot I already have and put that money towards ammo. And again, this is a dot in the exact same price range as the other one I wanted anyway. And then the only other thing we did was we changed from a carbine buffer, which this came with, to the let me double check if it's an H1 or H2. I think I put an H2 in it. Yeah, so we're running an H2 buffer in here now, which for what it's worth was an LBE H2 buffer. So take that for what it is. But overall, I've been super impressed with this thing so far. Now, this is not the end of its journey. We're going to continue to run rounds through it. But now at over 1,300 rounds, we are deep into territory that most people are probably not going to get to with their Palmetto State Armory guns. When I get home, I am going to do a thorough cleaning on this. And honestly, the only other upgrade I feel is immediately necessary, and it's, again, necessary is a word I'm using very loosely in this case, is probably changing out the stock, finding a stock that will allow me to secure it a little bit better back here. The main reason for that, so I've done other testing with this gun with a chest rig. However, this is my first time running it with a plate carrier. This one, for what it's worth, is the Vicarian plate carrier from Kenai Pro Gear. When you have the shoulder straps, even low profile ones like this, the long M4 stocks just kind of get in the way, I guess. And so I want something that's going to be a little bit lower profile and something contoured better for running with a plate carrier. And for what it's worth, this plate carrier has been exceptionally solid for me and comes with a ton of stuff right out the gate. We'll be doing a whole video on this thing later. I know a lot of people have said different pistol grips they want me to change to, different triggers they want me to change to, and I think I'm going to keep the A2 pistol grip and the mil-spec trigger in here just basically to prove a point that there are far more important upgrades and far better uses of your upgrade money than things like a pistol grip and a trigger. We can talk all day long about how this grip feels better than that grip, yada, yada, yada. However, when you may notice those differences when you're just standing in a gun store holding it, or standing in your living room holding on to it while you're watching John Wick. However, when you're actually on the range, running on the clock, running with a timer, shooting in different positions, the grip just kind of disappears and you don't really notice it. And again, the trigger, while maybe I'm not as fast as I could be with one of my Geisley triggers, a mil-spec trigger is perfectly sufficient. And when we're talking about upgraded triggers, we can make a small upgrade with like an ALG trigger for like $50 to $75, but really the big upgrades are going to be when you get to the 150 plus triggers, maybe the cheapest one being the LaRue MBT at $100. But if you're running stock iron sights and you have no light, no optic, don't spend $100 to $250 on a trigger. Get those other upgrades first, because these are actually going to be force multipliers in a way that's going to add a dimension to your ability to use it. So, for example, with the red dot, offhand shooting became significantly easier because my non-dominant eye is able to pick up a red dot much faster than it can the iron sights. While I'm moving and shooting, the red dot was significantly faster and more user-friendly than with iron sights. The white light here should go without saying, but now I have added an entire realm of the day that I can actually use it, i.e. being nighttime, which right now in January is most of the day. So if you don't have a white light, there's no reason to buy all these other little upgrades and not add functionality to your gun. To me, these are extremely important upgrades. And again, if you don't have a sling, don't be buying a $150 trigger. You need some of these fundamental things in your gun. And I'll even go as far as to say, don't buy a better trigger, don't buy better furniture, don't buy other fancy internals until you've taken some training. Training is, I think, the most overlooked part of this whole deal. All the drills that you saw me running through today and in previous videos is stuff that I've done in classes. That's how I came up with those drills. Basically stealing ideas from the people I've paid for training. And the whole point of training, as James Yeager says, is learning what and how to practice. I don't think I can adequately assess the usability of a firearm or how it performs under stress or anything like that until I've taken some of those training classes. And I do plan on taking a class with this gun specifically, just to, again, better do some testing with it. So There's more to come with this Palmetto State Armory gun. I know I've gotten a lot of really great feedback from people so far. In fact, we had a guy come into the store on Saturday, today's Tuesday, and he was like, hey, came across your channel. I have a very basic gun. I was looking at what to upgrade. And so he was kind of just picking my brain about this whole Broke to Boujee series. And it was cool just being able to have that personal interaction. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely throw that in the comment section down below. Again, more to come on this thing in the future. I want to say thanks to my patrons for helping to make this happen. While, as I said in previous videos, I paid for the lower receiver, the Tyranny lower. However, Palmetto State Armory did provide the Freedom kit, the blemished Freedom kit, to build around it. And then I put all the accessories on there, and as well as paid for all the ammo. And that was only possible due to the contributions I get over on Patreon. So that's why I post all my content over there early. We have some exclusive content. We're doing monthly live streams with those guys. We have a Discord server set up, although it's very quiet, so if more people can get in there, that would definitely be better. I should be doing a video with someone from Palmetto State Armory here in the post-SHOT Show time frame. Not exactly sure when or what that is exactly going to look like. But if you have questions that you want me to ask someone at Palmetto State Armory, definitely throw that in the comment section down below, because I can only come up with so many good questions myself, and your guys' support is appreciated. So anyway, we've been rambling on enough. Hopefully you've been finding this series entertaining. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe to the channel to catch more. But with all that being said, as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.
Stand by. Beep.
should have brought knee pads.
That's what she said.
It's a little sharp and pokey under my knee. So I had it soaking in snow here for a little bit. Just gonna shake it off, make sure I can see the red dot, and should have it ready to go. I'm sure that's gonna be fine, right? Not really a barrel obstruction, right? Uneventful, which is always good.
Yeah, maybe for you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Fuck. That was not easy. Feel free to go through the whole mag if you want. info good. 175. First shot 0.86. First mag up is going to be steel cased Red Army Standard. Got 3 rounds loaded up, PMC. $50 yards. I feel like I could see better with this than I could with that. Okay. So we are about 4 inches high. So our half MOA, so left to right looks pretty good. Push it. Three. All right. Okay, that'll work. All right, so first up, we have 5 rounds of Frontier ammo. This stuff has always done well in my other guns. So, let's see. All right. So, next up we'll do a group of this 69 grain Sierra Match King. For what it's worth, that one was at the top left diamond. This one will be going for the top right diamond. I can already tell that the group of Frontier was low to my point of aim. Okay. From what I can tell, it doesn't look decent. There's one round a little bit off. And then I have 4 rounds left. This 62 grain Fiocchi. 4 rounds is not as good as 5, I know. But that's what we got. Bottom left diamond. Okay, just for grins and gigs, since I have it here, I'll do one more group of the gold medal match. 62 grain, or 68 grain, 69 grain, excuse me. You'd think I'd remember that number. Ladies. Also for this purpose, I'm going to raise the optic up here just to make sure I don't interact with the 50 caliber muzzleloader impacts. Lovely.